Hello everybody, this is Level Up Lani and welcome to this very interesting, I would say more casual talk video today. As you can see, we are going to play Coffee Talk where we're going to be on endless mode and it's going to be called Free Brew. So that means I can chill and play my little game here while I talk to you guys about life and what's been going on. So this is going to be very chill, this is going to be very real. If you're not really wanting to face the reality version of Level Up Lani, you don't have to. You can continue to all my other playthrough videos, which will be happening now and previous videos on the channel. But I think I'll be doing these like every so often just to do a quick catch up and just to share my thoughts with you guys. So if you're that type of person who likes to hear that sort of thing, welcome to the first episode. I literally do have a real cup of coffee here. Hope you guys can hear it. ASMR stuff. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm just going to be rambling and talking your face off basically. And this is very, very unscripted, just to let you guys know. This, she said, make whatever you want, so we're just going to get into the flow of things. This is going to be very unscripted. Because when I'm honestly just wanting to have a casual conversation with you guys, I don't really like to have a script because I feel it doesn't feel very authentic to me if I script my stuff and read from a script. It wouldn't be authentic. And I know authenticity gets thrown around the internet today like baseballs, but I generally do not mean it when it's like authentic. Make whatever you want. Okay, so I think this is endless mode means you could just make whatever you want. And I'm mainly going to be talking the majority of the time instead of like doing drinks and all that. Or overthinking about what drink to make. So today I just wanted to share with you guys a few things that were basically on my mind. The first one is creative burnout and taking care of health. This is literally so crucial. Your health is always the most important thing, but I feel that if you're a creative or you're an artist, the one thing that you'll probably go through the majority of the time is burnout. And for the longest time, I've been through burnout stages. It didn't really happen when I was like first making my videos. I was doing a good solid 4 months or whatever months. I don't have the accurate timing on me, but it was a good thing where I was just powering through, and I was doing okay. And then a little while later, I started to notice the symptoms of burnout. And I've just been having to balance it ever since because, to be real with you, creative burnout is a struggle. And I would say the only people who may really relate to it is creatives and artists who are consistently working and perfecting their craft every single day. So it really doesn't matter if you are a painter or a content creator or actor or a dancer. If you're being creative or expressive in some way, you're probably going to understand creative burnout. And I have different ways that I push through it. I do take, let's say, a break for a couple of days. If I generally am not able to make a video on time, I will give myself grace and give myself a little bit of a break. Unfortunately, that has not happened yet, but it's in the back of my mind. I make sure to take times to rest and do absolutely nothing. Because I know some people say that's like not productive. And it depends on the context. It's like everything's sort of a half-truth and everything has a context. So in some cases, yeah, doing nothing is productive. But trying to force something to happen when you really cannot can also be a disadvantage. And one of the ways I've been able to deal with it, honestly, is just to sometimes just sit back and do absolutely nothing for a period of time. Because once I actually do that, even though it feels awful for me sometimes just to sit and do absolutely nothing, it gives me it gives my body and my mind the time to rest and recalibrate. And then suddenly, I just spring into action and start creating videos again, just like with this one. Now, to get to the point to make this video right here, what I actually did was literally sit down for a couple of days and read a book and do nothing. Or I took walks in nature and I just basically did things which was not in front of a screen all day. And the most important part was basically sitting there and doing nothing. And that has brought my energy back to be more creative. But I will let you guys know, for people who may be listening to this who are not creators or artists, creative burnout. This is what I'm saying. I also am going to let you guys know, if I stutter or I get tongue twisted, this is because this is how I generally am in real life, as they say. This is how I generally talk and how I generally am in real life. I speak, but sometimes my words get twisted, sometimes I get stutter and I get tongue twisters. So, excuse me for that, but I'm not going to edit out this video because that would be the real me if I did that. What was I talking about? I just temporarily got distracted. Oh, shoot. Okay, let's get back to it. So, yeah, creative burnout. Creative burnout can be similar to when somebody overworks themselves at a job too much. It can be like that as well. Now, I'm going to say the work style and the way the work is when you're a content creator will probably be very different to an actual job, especially if it's hard labor. So I'm not putting down anybody who has a hard labor job and saying it is easy as content creating, because trust me, it's not. Never want to interpret that or give that wrong, misconstrued reasoning. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying if you have been or at a job or doing something which is very hard labor and you're consistently having to do it, I bet that you've been through a process of burnout somewhere in your life. Whether it's burnout at a job or burnout at a hobby, or maybe overdoing a hobby because you enjoy it or because you feel like you have to do it. If you understand what a burnout is like there, then that is similar to what creative burnout is generally like. And for me, basically, there's been a lot of times where I've been having a lot of really bad burnout, and I really have to take care of my health. I do that in general. I do that quite a lot. But I mean, with things going on and stuff now, I have to now make that my health, mentally, physically, top priority. It even goes beyond content creation. Because in the past, unfortunately, I would do the complete opposite. I'd put my creative work above my health. Do not do that. I do not recommend that. And I learned the hard way, basically. Now, I'm not saying I am not like in a critical position. I'm not saying that I'm bedridden. Thank goodness I'm not. But me doing that did take its toll in a certain way. And I recommend, do not do that for yourself. Take care of your health even more than you do presently. I would say in these unusual times, double it, triple it if you have to. Just having a sip of my coffee. And that is what I've been having to do. Just take care of my health, mentally, physically, and just work with my version of burnout and what has been going on. And I am improving because of it. I am getting much better. I'm not going to say, oh, things are absolutely perfect, because we're going to go into that topic next, but not right now. But it's been better than how it previously was. I feel a lot better internally inside. Been changing my diet. Walking a lot more. For me, walking is a great form of exercise, but I also like work out, go to the fitness gyms. And I would say even interacting with people does have very positive social benefits. It does. I think that's more because of the psychological effects of having community, or at least be around people to talk to. And even for me, I don't really have to be talking to people. I could just be sitting there or being around a group of people saying absolutely nothing, and I would get the improvements and benefits as well. So yeah, my first topic I'm going to talk about, which I finished here, creative burnout, how I'm managing it. It's going well. And biggest message of this, don't take your health for granted, especially not the mental side. Because some people will go, oh, I'm doing well physically. That's important, but your mental and psychological and emotional is way more important as well. All of it is just as important. AIs take over social media. Or you can rather say AI influencers or AI content creators, whatever you want to phrase it as. Now, I'm going to say this very, very straight to everybody. I am not threatened by the takeover of AI influencers. Let's say not threatened, but I can see how it can become a huge issue. If AI has too much of a, let's say, monopoly or dominance over social media, I have looked into, not for myself, I'm saying in general, I have been studying AI personally for myself quite a lot, because as you can see, this is the new, I'm not going to say the new evolutionary stage, but it is a new thing that has entered the world, society, humanity. And I'm not the type of person who sees something new or interesting and then not study it or not take a look at it. It would just, for me, it would just be incomprehensible to do that. So that's why I've been looking at AI stuff quite a lot and going, what's going on here? Who is doing this? What is this all about? And then looking at like certain AI functions, AI tools and all that stuff. I know there's a lot of problems with the use of AI affecting the environment. So I'm not saying it is good to use it, but on a side note, I can see why people are using it. And if you're wondering why I talk like this and I try and strategize my, let's say, my communication like this, it's because I always try to see things from rather a neutral standpoint, or I try and see and empathize from both sides or multiple different sides at the same time. I don't really like black and white thinking. I don't really like biased thinking. And when I used to study at my, let's say, educational institutions, the one thing I learnt was critical thinking. So I always try and learn and look at perspectives from multiple points of view without default or saying to somebody, you're right or you're wrong. So that's why you can see how I am basically right now. But going back to what the topic that I was talking about, because I went off a bit off stage. I do not feel threatened by like AI influences and all that. But I can see why it's putting genuine content creators in a bit of a worry, or why it's making some people put off to become genuine, let's say, flesh or human content creators. Be the real OG content creators like 2006 onwards, if you see what I'm saying. The real genuine content creators. Because I think it's really hard to describe. I'm going to try and say it the best way I can. Can't guarantee I'll probably say it the best way I can, but I'm going to try my best. Along with creative burnout from content creation, a creative or a content creator or an artist may go through perfectionism. Perfectionism is when you over-obsess over an art or a project to make it as perfect as all you can, because you've got this fake thought that you can make the ultimate perfect thing. And that can really wreck with you mentally, because if you are a perfectionist and you try and make everything perfect or the most perfect piece of artwork and you can't, as a creative, it can really, really mess with your brain. And I relate to that as well, because even though I still deal with perfectionism today, just to be honest with you guys, I'm doing much better at being self-aware of it. I'm doing much better when it comes up and I'm able to curb it and change it. But yeah, perfectionism for me is still a problem that comes up every now and again. I just have a simpler, basically different way of handling it. So I think the trouble some creatives people may feel when it comes to AI and the problem of it taking over the majority of social media and possibly becoming a dominance or a monopoly, is that it's the really bad feeling that something that it was made to be ultimately perfect can do a better perfect job than you can as a, let's say, imperfect content creator or imperfect artist or imperfect creative. And it shouldn't be that way, but I know for some artists, if you're the type of artist that is relating to this, you could put in the comment box below as well. That would be really helpful. And then, or if you want to share your point of view of what I'm saying. But that can be the biggest annoyance. Because before AI, you probably will still have perfectionism problems, and you'll probably still be dealing with, accidentally comparing your work to somebody who's had more skill and talent than you are for years, or comparing your work to somebody and trying to make it better because you think it needs to be more perfect. But now, you're now dealing with something which has been built to perfection and can stay consistent in a certain form of perfection, if you see what I'm saying. And it's like you could improve to your maximum ability. You could be a painter for like all your life, 20 plus years, 30 plus years. You could become a master at anything you want. But one of the dark sides of AI is you'll be automatically dealing with something which has the power of the perfection or mastery, and it could create that level in over just a few seconds. And if we understand also about AI generation or AI generative art, that's also going to mess with people as well, because think about it, AI has affected a lot of creative people, especially like the people who are like creative, or let's say photographers, artists, painters. I think even AI. I'm not going to say I know everything at the moment, but I'm just going on different bits that I've understood. Even AI is getting good at a video right now. It can even make very accurate videos right now, which you have to really study and check if what you're seeing is real or not, because of how accurate it is becoming. So when you're seeing something that has like over 100 years of mastery, or it can create the illusion of that, and it overpowers what you've been learning to do with your hard work, sweat, and tears for years on end in a few seconds, and then on top of it, you've got some individuals that want to pick the, let's say, the AI work over your work because it could create a level of perfection that not the human cannot create, no matter how much hard work and sweat they put into. It can mess with creative people's minds. It can mess with the artist's mind, the content creator's mind. It first started with like traditional fine artists and fine creatives, and then now we've gotten to the point where is now doing an influence on creative content or content creators, and it can even have effects with the film industry. If you've seen like AI generated video, not like the very basic ones where you can actually tell in a couple of seconds. I'm talking about like the advanced AI video creation systems. It can actually have an impact on, let's say it has the potential to have an impact on movies or video creation in the future if it's not used fairly, or let's say in a more realistic way. And for creatives such as myself and others, I wouldn't say it's a threat, but it is, let's say for some, quite upsetting, and I can relate to them why they would feel that way. The last thing I wanted to talk about with you guys in this chatty update video, I don't even know what to call it. My title for it is Coffee and Talk, but it's just basically a gamer creative rambling a couple of minutes about what is on their thoughts and mind, and in there it's, let's say, soul. And I enjoy doing these, to be honest. But the final thing I wanted to talk about before I throw myself off and I get lost again is the unknown. Yeah, the unknown. I'm not going to say to you guys I have the answer to how we're going to deal with the unknowns of this world, because honestly I do not. I know I do my channel and I enjoy playing all my games. I enjoy creating a comfort space where you guys can probably, if you want to, chill for a couple of minutes and totally forget about what the world is doing. And this is what I said before, if you don't want to have a video where I'm talking about reality or the real truthness and thickness of it, this may not be the video for you. And if it's makes you too uncomfortable, move on to my other videos, or whether you want to, because I don't want to make everybody purposely uncomfortable. That's not my intention. But yeah, the unknown. I am going through the unknowns of what is going on in this world society just as much as everybody else is. Maybe it's a different perspective. Maybe I'm coming from a different path or paradigm or story. But if it's the one thing that I can relate to everybody about, that drink did look nice. If it's the one thing I can at least relate to everybody about, or I could be in connection with everybody with, in understanding, is that with the changes of everything going on as of this recording of this video, we're going through the unknown. And I understand that the reason why it's so difficult for people is because we're in a situation really where we can't really strategize or plan, or even if we can strategize or plan something, there is literally no positive guarantee. It's like when you walk into a dark tunnel or a dark cave and you can't see the light on the other side. You can make strategies. You can probably bring matches or a torch. You can plot all you want. But the reason why it's scary is because in that stage where you can do all these things, you can strategize and plan as much as you want. But in the end, we don't know exactly what is on the other side, what the result is. And I know for like human nature and humanity, that is the scariest thing in human nature, human psychology. When a person or a human doesn't know what is on the other side or what the unknown is. It is freaky, it is terrible for some people, and I can relate, or at least empathise to my best ability, people who may be feeling this way. And as you know, as a person who loves strategy games and who loves to plan out everything, and is usually a very organised, planned, structured person in general in my own life, I've had to face the challenge that life's is now going to be the biggest challenge, or where I have to sit in this space and have not a clue what is going on, but my only option is to embrace the unknown and adapt and flow with it. There's a difference between being strategic in like a battle or a plan where you know that what the end result is most likely going to be, versus life, which could just throw, let's say metaphorically, cannonballs at you, even if you've done everything or strategically planned everything to your best ability. And for me, this is the best new strategy that I'm learning. So I'm trying to see it from a positive standpoint, and I hope me sharing this point of view will assist and help as well. Embracing the unknown and learning to flow with it to my best ability and adapt and upgrade or go wherever I need to go, especially the challenges of these worlds, while navigating, and let's say, I'm just going to say the word adapt because that's the best thing for me, is a new form of strategy that I'm learning. And even though it's terrifying, the only best advice I could give to people at present, until I'm mature enough to know better and I've learnt more about life, because I'm not saying I'm perfect either, and I'm not saying I know everything about life, I've still got a lot to go, is you've got to face the fear of the unknown and deal with it anyway. Now, deal with it doesn't mean suppress your emotions. Deal with it doesn't mean don't be scared. You can feel those emotions but still decide to use your best strategy or your best ways of handling your life and just embrace the unknown. What should not be done, or I don't recommend is the best way, is to run from the unknown. Because to run from the unknown and think, oh, that was a pretty drink, Milky Way, forgot to make that, but but that was a pretty drink. Okay, so what you have to do is running away from the situation of the unknown, as scary as it truly is. And I'm not downplaying anybody, because I know people with very extreme lives are probably struggling with a lot more challenges in their life than I probably ever faced or will face. Everyone's path is different. But all I can say is the best thing to do is just don't run from the unknown. Running from the unknown does not create safety, it creates stagnation and decay. It may look like comfort, it may look like running away and staying the same is the best thing because, you know, at least you know it. But with staying in only what you know for long periods of time, it causes stagnation, decay. It means you don't grow, you don't improve. You're not experiencing anything new. And that sort of feeling is like being locked up in a cage and never getting outside with daylight or fresh air. You're just stagnating. So if I had to pick between the two, which means embracing the new and the unknown, even though it's scary, or going into, let's say, too much comfort, which causes decay and stagnation, I would pick going into the unknown, even if I don't like it. But I can understand why people fear the unknown, especially what's going on in the world right now, because we can't predict it. What we're dealing with the world right now is very different from the strategy games that we play, or like Darkest Dungeon 1 or Darkest Dungeon 2. I would say that real life right now is even harder. Well, not even say harder, but I'm saying real life is even more of a strategic game than these beautiful strategic games I talked about. They're beautiful in that. It's just like, what I'm trying to say is, at least with the Darkest Dungeon games, you have a goal, and if you know you do this, you achieve it. Life, you don't know what's going to happen on the other side. But I think that's why I play those games as well, and strategic games, because it helps me to deal with, navigate the unknowns of this world as well. So it's kind of like when you take something you learnt from a book or a game and you apply it to real life sort of thing, which is why I like playing those games, because I apply, let's say, the principles of Darkest Dungeon 1 and 2, as well as other strategic games, into my life as well. But I'm not going to say to you guys, I know what's going to happen, or yeah, everything's going to be fine. I'm not going to give you guys false promises. But all I'm going to say is, do to your best ability. It's better to deal with the unknown and to embrace it and to adapt to it than run away from it. It doesn't mean don't be scared. But in the end, whatever happens, at least you can look back and say, I did it. I may have stumbled, I may have tripped, I may have crawled to the end, screaming if you have to, but you made it to the end to something brand new. And one of the things I've learned as well, guys, is that everything's temporary. Nothing lasts forever, not even the petrified chaos. And I feel by facing life and these things, it does give you a beneficial, thicker skin. So really do the best you can. Be kind to yourself, love yourself, and just navigate this world the best you can. And embrace the unknown. Just embrace it.